The Philippines has entered a period in which the demands of air sovereignty and maritime vigilance have grown faster than its ability to acquire high-end fighter aircraft. In this environment, the FA-50 has moved from being a transitional asset to becoming the backbone of Philippine air power. The arrival of the FA-50 Block 20 standard marks a decisive shift, not just in hardware capability, but in the strategic posture of the Philippine Air Force as it prepares for a decade of heightened competition over the West Philippine Sea. The aircraft represents the rare intersection where affordability, availability, and modern combat relevance meet at the precise moment Manila needs a dependable air response platform. Much of the FA-50's significance originates from the capability gaps that preceded it. For decades, the Philippine Air Force operated with no air-to-air platform able to enforce territorial airspace. Meanwhile, China expanded its patrols, operated larger and more capable aircraft over contested waters, and increased gray zone pressure at Second Thomas Shoal. From 2023 to 2025, the number of Philippine patrols rose sharply, but so did interactions with foreign aircraft and drones. In this context, an aircraft with low operating cost, rapid response time, and credible sensors became essential. The FA-50 filled that vacuum far earlier and more effectively than originally anticipated. It was purchased as a trainer-light combat aircraft, but it evolved into a daily workhorse responsible for patrol, quick reaction alert, and maritime overwatch. The Block 20 upgrade transforms the FA-50 from a stopgap into a more capable air policing and limited air combat platform. The most important change is the introduction of an active electronically scanned array radar, which nearly doubles detection range compared to older models. This provides the Philippine Air Force with a far better picture of activity over the West Philippine Sea, especially when monitoring Chinese aircraft, Coast Guard helicopters, or unidentified drones. In combination with enhanced tracking and electronic protection, the aircraft becomes more resilient and more lethal in the early phases of aerial encounters. An Air Force that once struggled with basic radar detection now possesses a fighter with sensor performance approaching that of a modern lightweight combat aircraft. The Block 20 standard also brings the integration of the AIM-120 medium-range air-to-air missile. For the first time in Philippine history, pilots have the ability to engage targets beyond visual range. This matters because any future confrontation will likely involve platforms significantly larger and more powerful, such as Chinese J-11B or J-16 fighters. While the FA-50 cannot match these aircraft in raw performance, having a beyond visual range missile closes part of the gap by allowing Philippine pilots to fight from farther distances, rely on cooperative targeting from allies, and impose a form of cost on foreign aircraft that probe Philippine airspace. Even if not used in combat, the deterrent value of simply having a modern missile creates a psychological and operational shift. Another part of the transformation lies in the FA-50's expanded weapon compatibility. Precision-guided munitions such as Joint Direct Attack Munition and Small Diameter Bomb turn the aircraft into a flexible defender that can strike small maritime targets, provide close air support, or conduct limited anti-ship missions with targeting pod assistance. In the West Philippine Sea, where engagements often involve fast boats, maritime militia, or lightly armed vessels, such precision weapons are particularly relevant. In the future, the aircraft may incorporate lightweight anti-ship missiles, which would further integrate it into the broader maritime strike network that the Philippines is building with systems like the BrahMos coastal battery. The aircraft's operational value also increases because of improvements in data connectivity. Full Link 16 compliance allows the FA-50 Block 20 to work directly with American and Japanese surveillance aircraft, Philippine surface combatants like the Jose Rizal-class frigates, and land-based radar from the Japanese-funded coastal surveillance program. This situational awareness is critical, because the Philippines does not yet possess its own airborne early warning aircraft. By piggybacking on Allied surveillance and passing targeting information between sea, air, and ground units, the FA-50 becomes a node in a wider network, rather than a standalone platform with limited battlefield vision. These strengths put the FA-50 Block 20 at the center of the Philippines' day-to-day deterrence posture in the West Philippine Sea. The aircraft is the first to respond to unusual activity, the most economically sustainable asset for extended patrols, and the most frequently deployed element of the Quick Reaction Alert System. Where more advanced fighters might be too costly to operate on a high-tempo basis, the FA-50 can fly regularly without burning the defense budget. Its ability to launch quickly makes it ideal for intercepting drones or patrolling contested reefs, and its presence alone provides reassurance to Philippine sailors and Coast Guard personnel facing pressure at sea. However, there are clear limitations. The FA-50's range, endurance, and payload are modest. Without aerial refueling or additional forward operating locations under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, its ability to maintain long air patrols remains limited. Against high-end adversaries with long-range radar and electronic attack capability, the FA-50 would require protection from more advanced fighters and ground-based systems. It remains a lightweight aircraft with a modest engine, meaning that it cannot sustain the energy or missile load of larger fighters. These constraints underline why the FA-50 cannot be treated as the final capability goal, but rather as the foundation upon which a more advanced future fleet will be built. The path toward 2030 reflects this logic. Between 2025 and 2027, the Philippines plans to expand its FA-50 fleet, standardize the Block 20 upgrade, and strengthen interoperability with allies. Distributed basing in Luzon and Palawan is likely to grow, enabling quicker responses. From 2027 to 2030, Manila aims to introduce airborne early warning aircraft, integrate additional maritime strike weapons, and finalize the acquisition of a new generation of multi-role fighters, such as the KF-21 or Gripen E. In this structure, the FA-50 will serve as the rapid reaction element, while next-generation fighters execute long-range interception, air superiority, and deterrent missions. The long-term significance of the FA-50 lies in how it shapes the identity and operational habits of the Philippine Air Force. It teaches pilots to operate with modern radar, precision weapons, and network-centric tactics. It establishes a culture of sustained air patrols, something that the Philippines lacked for decades. And it provides the country with a credible, cost-effective tool for asserting its rights in contested airspace. Even though it will not dominate a high-intensity conflict, it gives Manila breathing space, presence, and political leverage. In the broader geopolitical landscape, the FA-50 Block 20 symbolizes a shift in how the Philippines approaches deterrence. Instead of relying solely on allies, it now fields a platform that can meaningfully contribute to regional security. The aircraft's integration into surveillance networks highlights Manila's increasing role within the architecture of the first island chain. It is not a perfect solution, but it is a timely one. The FA-50 Block 20 delivers exactly what the Philippines needs in this decade: a reliable bridge to a more capable future force, a practical tool for everyday defense, and a signal that the Philippines is preparing seriously for the strategic realities of the West Philippine Sea.